To Sinclair Fine Foods and its bold new era. Edward Kingston, Meridian Capital's lead investor, raised his glass with genuine excitement in Ellsworth, Boston's most upscale restaurant. I smiled as the champagne sparkled and investors beamed, my parents glowing with rare joy. I'm Madison Sinclair, and after 8 years of transforming my parents' failing gourmet shop into a national brand, I just secured an $8 million investment for nationwide expansion. The room buzzed with celebration, but a storm was brewing. 8 years ago, I abandoned a high-flying finance career to rescue my parents' specialty food business, 3 months from collapse. Friends called me insane for ditching a 6-figure salary for a sinking ship, but I saw untapped potential. From that tiny Cambridge storefront to this. Vivian, my former business school professor who connected me with investors, marveled. National distribution, a subscription model, manufacturing partnerships. What a turnaround, Madison. Pride warmed me as investors nodded, impressed by my overhaul of operations, rebranding, strategic partnerships, and e-commerce platform that took Sinclair Fine Foods from a local gem to shipping artisanal jams and condiments to 48 states. None of this would have happened without Madison's foresight, my father said, toasting me. When Helen and I started 25 years ago, we never dreamed of this. My mother smiled, but a familiar hesitation crossed her face. As investors discussed my detailed expansion plans, she squeezed my hand under the table. Madison, darling, she whispered, her perfume enveloping me. This is thrilling, but when William returns from his program next month, he'd be a better CEO for this scale. You've laid a great foundation, but his education fits this stage. William, my brother, the family's golden child who'd spent the last year traveling Europe post-MBA, barely engaging with the business I'd rebuilt. I kept my smile fixed, squeezing her hand back, but a chill settled in my gut. 8 years of 18-hour days, sacrificed vacations, and a sidelined personal life, yet I was still just the placeholder for William's birthright. Everything all right? Kingston asked, noticing our exchange. Absolutely, I replied, raising my glass, but my mind was racing. Monday couldn't come soon enough. 8 years earlier, I was a star at Morgan Stanley when my father called, saying the family business was failing. A second location and the recession had crushed their luxury food sales, leaving them 3 months from closing. You're quitting finance for fancy jam? My boss scoffed when I resigned. Even William, then finishing undergrad, said, It's a lost cause, Maddie. Let it go. But I couldn't. Sinclair Fine Foods was my parents' legacy, built on handcrafted recipes, small farm sourcing, and customer relationships. Saving it meant preserving their dream. The first 2 years were grueling. I worked the counter by day, crunched numbers at night, sold the second location, renegotiated supplier deals, and updated accounting systems. I took a second mortgage on my condo to fund our e-commerce site, sleeping in the stockroom for 6 months when I couldn't afford rent. William, meanwhile, took a consulting job, offering occasional advice but too focused on his career to help. My parents excused his absence, praising his valuable experience for the business's future, while I transformed it. A viral food blog post about our preserves sparked a subscription box service with 20,000 monthly subscribers. Last year, I landed deals with 3 national gourmet chains, boosting revenue 340%. Yet my parents remained oddly detached, grateful but always hinting my role was temporary, with William as the destined leader, their firstborn son. Kingston's voice snapped me back. Madison, what's your vision for leadership moving forward? The investors watched expectantly. My mother tensed beside me. This moment, long dreaded, had arrived. The current structure stays, I said evenly, feeling her gaze. I'll remain CEO with my parents as brand ambassadors to maintain the authentic family story our customers love. Kingston nodded, scribbling notes. And your brother? Helen mentioned his MBA. Before I could respond, my mother interjected. William just finished his executive MBA at Wharton. He'll join leadership next month, bringing insights from consulting. I kept my face neutral despite the sting. William, who'd spent 3 weekends at the shop in 8 years, was being sold as vital to our growth. Kingston's eyes flicked between us, sensing tension. What's his role? We haven't decided yet, I said quickly. We're focused on the investment. But my mother pressed on. William's always had the sharpest business mind, she said proudly. Madison's done wonderfully with creative elements, but William's financial expertise is key for expansion. I nearly laughed. I'd been a financial analyst, restructured the business and secured $8 million, yet she cast William as the financial genius. Kingston exchanged a look with Diane Thomas, another investor, a subtle shift signaling they were rethinking the deal. Mrs. Sinclair, Kingston said cautiously, our investment hinges on Madison's track record and vision. Any leadership changes require discussion. My mother looked stunned as if she hadn't considered the investors backed me, not the family name. My father coughed awkwardly. Of course we're aligned. Madison's done remarkable work. We're just excited for both kids' involvement. Nothing's final. The topic shifted, but the damage was done. As dinner ended, Kingston's handshake was firm. We should talk Monday, just you, he murmured. I nodded, knowing the investors saw my mother's implications. As we rode back in the town car, my parents chatted about William's return, oblivious to the shift. I stared at Boston's lights, planning. Monday would be pivotal. I barely slept, and by 6 a.m. Saturday, I was at Sinclair Fine Foods' empty headquarters, surrounded by spreadsheets and 8 years of records. The cleaning crew was surprised to see me. Everything okay, Miss Sinclair? Jorge, our maintenance head, asked. Just prepping for a big meeting, I said, eyes on my laptop. Another one after that fancy dinner? You work too hard, he teased. I smiled. This one's huge, Jorge. After he left, I called Vivian, my mentor. Madison, it's 6:30 on a Saturday, she groaned. I need advice, I said, and maybe help. 45 minutes later, Vivian arrived with coffee and resolve. After hearing my story, she studied me. You've seen this coming for years. What do you want? I paused. What I've earned. And to stop pretending my family values me. She nodded. Let's make calls. By noon, I'd arranged an emergency Sunday meeting with Kingston's team and called my loyal staff, Daphne, marketing, Jason, operations, Tamara, product development, for a strategy session. They'd been with me from the start, unlike William, who was finding himself pre-MBA. My parents called twice, eager to share William's ideas. I let them go to voicemail. This weekend was about my future, not theirs. Sunday, I was a nervous wreck, having run projections until 3 a.m. Kingston's team arrived at 9 o'clock, faces a mix of concern and curiosity. Madison, Kingston began, I trust my instincts. Something at dinner worries me. You're right to worry, I said, distributing folders. Page 1 is our current structure. Page 2 is what my parents want post-investment. It showed William as CEO, me demoted to a powerless creative director. Kingston frowned. This isn't what we agreed. No, I said, but it's been my family's plan since I started. William's the heir despite my results. What's page 3? Diane asked, flipping forward. I took a breath. By counterproposal. The room stilled as they read my plan for a new company, free of the Sinclair name in my family. You're suggesting we redirect our investment to a new entity you'd lead, Kingston said. Yes, I replied, meeting his eyes. Here's why it's financially sound. I presented overnight prepared slides, showing our customer base valued my product quality and brand story, not the Sinclair name. I highlighted my initiatives, innovation, sustainability, community, that drove growth backed by customer surveys. What about manufacturing? Diane asked. Wouldn't you start from scratch? No, I said. Our 3 main partners' contracts renew next quarter. I've managed those relationships for years. They know I run this. I outlined a full business plan for my new company, leveraging Sinclair's successes without family baggage. Impressive for one weekend, Kingston noted, but you've planned this longer. 3 years, I admitted. I've watched my parents favor William. I knew this might happen. After 2 hours, Kingston leaned back. We invested in you, Madison, not just the brand. You're the visionary. We'll consider redirecting the investment with tweaks, but you must talk to your parents first. Give them a chance to see what they're losing. I agreed, though I dreaded the confrontation. After the investors left, I met my team, nervous to share my plan, fearing they'd see it as betrayal. I always knew you had an exit strategy, Daphne said. Your parents' obsession with William made it inevitable. Jason nodded. We work with you, not the Sinclair name. You'd come with me? I asked, stunned. In a heartbeat, Tamara said. We've discussed it. We saw this coming with William's MBA. Their loyalty anticipating this moment gave me strength. They weren't just staff, they were allies who valued me when my family didn't. That evening I drove to my parents' house, calm but resolute. I'd spent years chasing their approval but no success changed their view. William was the heir. As I parked, William called from the airport. "Hey Maddie," he said brightly. "Just landed. Mom mentioned a big investment. Perfect timing for my return." "Perfect timing," I agreed, smiling. "See you tomorrow at the office." Tomorrow everything would shift. The Sunday talk with my parents was as expected. My mother was appalled I'd consider abandoning the family legacy. My father proposed a co-CEO compromise. "I've run this alone for 8 years," I said. "Why need a co-leader now?" "William brings fresh ideas," my mother insisted. "He's the sharpest business mind." "Based on what?" I asked, voice steady. "His 2-year consulting stint he quit? His MBA I funded while saving the company." My father winced. "Madison Williams the firstborn." "I'm 37, I cut in. I grew revenue 3,000% and landed $8 million. But that's irrelevant because William's your son, not your daughter." Their silence confirmed their bias. "The investors back me, not the Sinclair name," I said. "Decide by morning to recognize that or lose what I've built." I left them stunned, a childhood photo above their fireplace. William centered, me sidelined, mirroring our dynamic. Monday, I arrived at the office at 7:30. To my surprise, Daphne, Jason, Tamar, and a dozen others were there. "We're with you whatever happens," Daphne said. I nodded, nearly overwhelmed and prepared. At 8:30 my parents arrived, tense. At 8:42 William swaggered in, his pricey suit and easy confidence that of someone who'd never had to earn respect. He shook hands, claiming the CEO role he hadn't worked for, my mother glowing as if he were a VIP, not an absentee. At 9 o'clock Kingston and his team with Meridian's legal partners arrived. The office tensed. Employees sensed something big. My mother rushed to Kingston. "We're thrilled you're here. Meet my son William, just back from..." Kingston cut her off. "We're here for Madison, but it's good for you all to join us in the conference room." The reckoning was here. In the charged conference room my parents and William sat opposite the investors, with me at the head. Kingston opened his briefcase. Meridian's investment was based on Madison's leadership and vision. Our due diligence focused on her track record and strategy. Friday's dinner raised concerns about leadership expectations. My father spoke. "We see Sinclair Fine Foods as a family business, with both children contributing." Diane interjected, "Our investment assumes Madison's continued leadership. Any change is a material breach." William leaned in, his confidence misplaced. "My MBA and consulting experience qualify me to what?" Kingston asked sharply. "Replace the person who saved this company, grew it 3,000% and secured this investment?" Silence fell. My mother paled. Kingston slid a folder to my parents. "2 options. Review them." Inside were 2 documents. The original deal ensuring my CEO role for 5 years with William in a non-executive position, and a $10 million investment in my new Sinclair Free company. "What's this?" my father whispered. "Insurance," I said, "if you don't see what's valuable here." William grabbed the second document, red-faced. "You're threatening to compete against your family?" "I'm protecting what I built," I corrected. "Where were you when I slept in the stockroom, delivered orders, redesigned products?" My mother looked crushed. "Madison, you'd abandon our legacy?" Before I could answer, Daphne, Jason, Tamar, and 15 others entered. "If Madison leaves, we go with her," Daphne said. My parents stared, stunned by the employees, the company's heart, backing me. After 10 minutes of silence, my father pushed the first document forward. "We'll sign this. Madison stays CEO." My mother nodded tightly. William looked shattered. "Wise choice," Kingston said, signaling his legal team. 2 hours later, the deal was done. I remained CEO, William joined as VP of Business Development under me, and my parents became brand ambassadors, stepping back from operations. 6 months later, Sinclair Fine Foods thrives. Expansion ahead of schedule, new products 40% above projections. We're a family success story to outsiders, but but I keep my parents and William at a professional distance. Family dinners are polite but business only. Their betrayal taught me my worth isn't tied to their approval. My true family is the team that stood with me that Monday, ready to risk everything for fairness. I carry the Sinclair name on my cards, but my legacy is mine alone.